Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something absolutely massive, the Sukabumi Investment Blueprint for 2027 to 2045. This isn't just another dry planning document. It's a visionary master plan literally designed to rewrite the economic future of West Java. We're talking about bridging that huge gap between raw, untouched natural resources and highly advanced urban commercialization. So if you're a strategy geek or just fascinated by regional economics and sustainable investment, you are definitely in the right place. Let's get right into it. Okay, here's how we're going to break this down today. First, we'll look at the two faces of the Sukabumi region. Then we explore the giant's natural wealth, followed by the city as a service heart. After that, we'll unpack the joint economic integration model, check out some specific green-blue investment projects, and wrap up with the roadmap to 2045. Section 1. The two faces of the Sukabumi region. Now, looking at the administrative layout, you immediately notice a really unique geographic setup. That massive colored sprawl, that's the Sukabumi Regency, or Kabupaten. But right in the middle, literally like a donut hole, is that tiny pink enclave. That is Sukabumi City, the Kota. So you've got this vast, rural, resource-heavy regency completely wrapping around a super compact, highly urbanized city. It's fascinating. To really put the scale of this into perspective, let's compare the numbers side by side. The Regency is a staggering 4,162 square kilometers spread across 47 districts. Its whole deal? Extraction. Think mining, farming, forestry. The city, on the other hand, is a mere 48 square kilometers with just 7 districts. Zero space for farming or mining, right? So its economy is entirely service-focused. We're looking at two completely different worlds that just happen to share the exact same name and geography. And just to hammer home exactly how gigantic the Regency is, it takes up over 11% of West Java's entire landmass. 11.21% to be exact. It's a true resource giant, sitting on an immense amount of untapped potential across a truly massive footprint. Which brings us to Section 2, the giant's natural wealth. You can really see the breathtaking diversity of that wealth right here. We've got stunning highland mountains transitioning all the way down to sprawling coastal blue economies. The local government actually uses this concept called Gurulaps, which stands for Gunung, Rimba, Laut, Pantai, and Sungai. Literally translated, that's mountains, forests, sea, beach, and rivers. Basically, it establishes a massive, diversified foundation completely primed for sustainable investment. Breaking down that raw power, the Regency's capabilities are pretty staggering. We're talking massive capacities for agriculture and horticulture. Think sprawling rice fields, high-value veggies, and fruits like mangosteen and durian. Plus, huge fisheries and marine resources. Dig deep underground, and they've got gold, precious minerals, and a ton of geothermal energy potential. And above ground, a world-class ecotourism footprint, including the famous Silatsu Palbuhan Ratu Geopark. Moving on to Section 3, the city as service heart. So, as we established, the city itself doesn't have any mining operations or massive agricultural estates. Its survival and economic growth rely 100% on being the ultimate urban service hub. The blueprint specifically positions Sukabumi City as the go-to trading, financial, distribution, and creative economy center. Essentially, it's the engine where all that raw potential from the Regency finally comes to get commercialized. Which naturally begs a pretty pivotal question. How exactly do you unite this massive resource giant with the compact urban service center? Because historically, just extracting and selling raw materials is a dead end for growth. It keeps communities poor. But if you can successfully integrate these two distinct entities, that is how you unlock an absolute regional powerhouse. Let's look at how they plan to do exactly that. In Section 4, Joint Economic Integration Model. This whole big idea is built around a beautifully logical 5-step integrated value chain. Let's walk through it. Step 1, primary production out in the vast Regency. Step 2, those resources move to local aggregation centers, typically run by cooperatives and rural enterprises. Step 3, industrial processing. This is where you turn raw fruit into bottled juices or fresh catch into packaged seafood. Step 4, the finished goods flow straight into the trading and distribution hub. That's the city. And finally, Step 5, they get pushed out through logistics networks for national distribution and export. The Regency makes it, the city markets and moves it. Simple, but brilliant. Section 5, Green-Blue Investment Projects. Okay, I want you to look at the sheer scale of ambition here. 186.45 trillion Indonesian rupiah. That is the colossal total capital expenditure needed for the 50 prioritized projects between 2027 and 2045. So yeah, this is not some small-town proposal. This is a highly serious, heavily vetted pipeline specifically targeted at global investors. And this dashboard perfectly illustrates the data-driven approach they're taking to manage all that capital. The investment project pipeline database tracks literally everything for every single project. We're talking CapEx, internal rates of return, spatial planning status, even ESG ratings. It's a completely transparent, highly modern system designed to rigorously track and attract serious investment. Let's zoom in on a few specific sectors, starting with the blue investments. Leveraging that massive southern coastline, the blueprint aggressively targets high-value coastal tourism and a robust blue economy. Think major initiatives like the Palabuhan Ratu seafood processing hub, massive cold chain logistics centers, and cutting-edge blue carbon mangrove conservation. It's all about turning these gorgeous coasts into sustainable, long-term economic engines. Now, on the flip side, we have the green economy. And a crucial takeaway here is that green doesn't just mean farming. For example, by tapping into the natural hot springs and underground geothermal potential in Sisolak, Sukabumi, plans to generate massive amounts of green electricity. This will power low-carbon industrial estates, perfectly marrying raw natural resources with next-generation sustainable industry. To keep this massive endeavor organized, the blueprint breaks things down into 10 strategic economic clusters. Some of the heavy hitters include the agro-food estate for food security, the gold and mineral processing hub, which actually mandates local downstream processing instead of just shipping out raw ore, the geopark sustainable tourism hub, and of course, the city's urban food and trading hub, acting as the financial anchor for the whole shebang. Section 6, Roadmap to 2045. The actual execution of this master plan is broken down into 5 very distinct phases. Phase 1 kicks off in 2027, focusing heavily on database preparation, GIS mapping, and clearing out legal hurdles. Phase 2 moves into pilot projects and quick wins. Then, hitting the 2030s, Phase 3 calls for massive industrial expansion and downstream processing. Phase 4 pivots to ramping up exports. And finally, Phase 5 culminates in 2045 with the ultimate target: total green and blue economic independence and net zero emissions. Which brings us to the ultimate vision statement of the blueprint. Sukabumi aims to become the integrated green-blue investment region of West Java. That perfectly encapsulates the entire goal here, taking 2 very distinct, separate entities, a sprawling, wild natural giant and a compact, bustling urban hub, and fusing them into one unified, unstoppable economic powerhouse. So, I'll leave you with this question to chew on. Is your portfolio ready to capitalize on the integration of raw nature and urban commerce in Sukabumi? Because this blueprint represents a fundamental, massive shift in how we approach sustainable regional planning. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer of the 2027 to 2045 blueprint. I highly encourage you to dive into their investment database to see the numbers for yourself. Until next time, stay curious and keep learning.